Friday. Last time I saw you, it was hump day, and baby, it's even better because we've made it to the weekend. So come on, sit down with me. Let's hang out. Let's kiki. Let's talk. Let's talk about Orange County because that's what we're going to kick things off with. These blurred text messages. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Katie of it all. And y'all can tell me if you're Team Katie at the moment, if you're feeling bad for Katie, if you're not feeling bad for Katie. We're also just going to talk about, again, like I said, these blurred texts, the Katie and the Matt conversation. And we're going to talk about that first event that the ladies had without Katie, okay, over on the beach. Also, keeping it in the OC world, let's talk about that mid-season trailer that came out this week, even though there's not much to talk about. And I also want to hit on the fact that Gina said she won't be returning to OC if Katie is invited back. We're going to talk about that. And then we're going to wrap up with our Jersey girls and the fact that we still don't know who our Jersey girls are, except that it's just rumors constantly. There's another Jersey rumor out. So we're going to hit on that. So like I said, happy Friday. I hope this week has been good to you, and I hope the weekend will be even better to you. Let's talk about OC. Oh, and while you're here, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get notified every time I go live, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. So, did you watch OC last night? Gladys said, hello, bye, Gina. What a great way to kick off this chat. Talk to me. What were you thinking about OC last night? Were you missing Katie's presence in the show? I mean, yes, we saw her some, but, you know, as far as the group scene, she wasn't there. We're going to talk about that. I really want to start, though, with these blurred text messages of it all. I saw a lot of people talking about this online, questioning it. I even got tagged in tweets about it, people asking me why I thought this was happening. And the text messages that I'm referring to are, it was the scene with Katie and Matt where they're kind of, you know, talking about all this stuff again. And Matt says that, you know, he basically, they show his phone and it's his call records with Slade. And I mean, I obviously believe that they had talked. There were a lot of calls. I'm like, who has the time for all those calls? You know? So not only that, then Matt kind of pulls up his phone and it's showing, like, you know, how when you're texting someone, your messages are on the right, theirs are on the left. Okay. Kind of like driving. And his texts were showing, Slade's texts were blurred. All right. And to be quite honest, maybe I'm just oblivious or maybe I'm just focused on the wrong things. I started getting tagged in tweets and stuff about it and seeing discussion about it before I saw the episode. So it had already been brought to my attention. Being honest, if I was just watching the episode, you know, without any indication of this was that they were going to show this, I don't know that I would have even thought about it. Is that bad? But clearly I missed something because everybody wants to know why the Slade texts are blurred and what was Slade saying that they had to blur out. And so I saw one interesting theory that someone on Twitter, they basically said he probably didn't sign the release for them to be unblurred. But I don't know that I don't think that would be the case because I think when you sign, I would imagine that whatever release they have signed to be on the show would maybe clear that as well. Like the messages, maybe, I don't know. Who knows? I'm not, you know, attorney Phaedra Parks over here. So I have no idea how that works. But this was such a discussion online, apparently, and a question going around about the blurred text that even Katie herself responded to it. I saw a tweet from her, and she says that she told the audience, this is not the last time that we will see the texts. And she said it also that the next time we see them, they won't be blurred anymore. Okay, so we're going to talk about two things here. Number one, I said, am I oblivious? Clearly I was, because there's just this whole conversation and question going around online, and the texts are going to come back up later. Clearly I should have been paying more attention in that moment. But to me, it is interesting that it's almost like some sort of they're building up to something here. Clearly, production is. They're blurring the text. They could have just showed them, but Katie's telling us that we will see the text. Okay, so why wouldn't they have just shown the text in that moment if they're going to eventually show them later? Okay. Number two, how does Katie know that those texts are going to come back? Right? How does she know that those texts are going to be back in another episode and unblurred? Because it's not like she knew they were blurring them out the first time that he showed them to her. And another interesting thing is you would say, okay, she's probably seen the episodes. I don't know, because usually the ladies don't watch whatever episodes are left until it's reunion time. That's when they'll get like a bulk of a handful of episodes to watch and get caught up. So that way, when they film the reunion, they're up to speed on the context of the storyline for the rest of the season, what has been said, what's been done that they didn't know about, and then they can engage and discuss it. And then we at home catch up a couple weeks later. The OC ladies haven't filmed their reunion yet and aren't filming it for a little while. So there would be no reason for Katie to have seen all of these episodes. You see what I'm saying? And to me, it kind of, and this is just a theory, her knowing that we'll see the messages later, her knowing that the messages will be unblurred, and the fact that production's clearly building up to something by not just giving it to us last night, whatever was said, to me, it's giving that production is maybe backing Katie here. Does that make sense? Because maybe they're the ones that gave her this information. Yes, the texts are going to come out later. They're building up a case. Like, why wouldn't they have just showed what Slade said before? They're going to show it later and reveal something that kind of puts Slade in not an even worse light. And number three, Katie is on media tour around the world right now. Bravo has had her on all the podcasts. They've had her on doing all kinds of press. And it just, between that and her knowing that the text messages are going to come back, to me, it kind of feels like maybe they're backing her up or getting behind her. Now, are they doing that because they feel that she's telling the truth, or are they doing that because of the absolute ginormous wave of support that the audience is giving her that absolutely no one expected? We'll never know. So it was so funny, though. There was oh my gosh, I gotta grab my charger before my computer dies. I didn't realize that my stuff wasn't plugged in, y'all. Forgive me. But there was a hilarious pulling up his phone records and stuff, and he basically says, like, he says, Katie, you really think that there's a 42-minute phone call with Slade? He's like, what in the world? You think I'm just shooting this with Slade? He's like, I wouldn't do that with Slade Smiley. And I'm like, honestly, I don't know why that's so funny, because who has 43 minutes to talk on the phone? Anyone who knows me will tell you I'm so bad at answering the phone. And it's not that I necessarily miss it. It's that I have to decide in that moment, is this call worth it? Could it have been a text? 99% of the time, it could have been a text. And another reason I'm not answering phone calls is because we might end up being on there for 42 minutes. Talking about what? And if y'all remember, I did a live a couple weeks ago before all this kind of kept continuing to, build up. And I said, I feel like we all maybe expected there to be a lot of Slade on camera in the storyline amongst the group, and there wasn't. And I said, to me, that raised flags, because I'm like, he's got to be busy doing something. And now it kind of makes sense, because everyone's alluding to the fact that he's been trying to play puppet master behind the scenes, So I don't know. Whenever I was in college, I had to take a class called Com Theory, where the entire course was based on theory. Nothing was fact. We were tested on theories of theories of theories. I don't know how that's fair, but I feel like this season of Orange County is Orange County theory. Everything is a theory. Nothing is based in fact. And will we ever know? Because let me tell you what, I passed that class barely. And did I ever know anything about those theories? Absolutely not. I think the OC is going to be the same way. I'm never going to have any clarity. We're never going to know because no one's going to change their story. They can't change their story at this point. And I'll be honest, because I'm honest with y'all. Y'all know I don't BS. I would have bet money that come reunion, Katie would have admitted to telling Kiki. And that she would have said, I denied it for as long as I did because that was the instruction, was to protect Gretchen. And if she's denying that the story isn't true, one way to deny it is that I never even said it. So to me, it was a little surprising to see this press tour that I've just mentioned Katie's on. She was on, I believe, Viall Files, and I think it was with Bryce Sander. I watched her interview too, and she said that the hill she's willing to die on is that she did not tell Kiki Monique. So I honestly am a little surprised by that because I thought, and I've even had like conversations with like my Housewives friends. I'm like, if she can get to that reunion and kick off by saying, I wasn't truthful about telling Kiki because I thought that we were sticking together on this. And then I realized that I didn't want to lie anymore. I was like, you can get ahead of everything. And anything they throw at you after that, you can say, yeah, but that was because I was a part of the plan and then I was no longer part of the plan. But she is saying she never, ever, ever told Kiki that. And I've said before too, like I will always believe Kiki, but I also believe Katie. So this is a very confusing place to be. Back to calm theory. Nothing is factual. Everything is theories. Nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense. So talk to me. I mean, are y'all feeling like you're walking away with anything after each episode? Or are you walking away with more questions than you came in? And it's not that, I know that it's still entertaining to an extent, but I'm missing, I need more. I need more laughs. I need more, like, if I am trying to figure out who did this, like, I'll go watch, Forensic Files. And then at the end, I'll see if I was right, So just a very interesting approach to a season. I don't know. I would be curious to know if production was very confident in themselves throughout this season, if they were fearful that this was going to be a story, and were they like, why are we rehashing this stuff from years ago? Why is there no new discussion? Why is there no new drama? It was go after Katie, and even that is still tied back to something from 15 years ago. So I don't know, just a very interesting approach to a season. And honestly, I feel like there could have been a lot of other ways that it could have been handled. It should have just been a fun season. We need fun. We need fun back on Housewives. They can have fun and still be dramatic. We can have fun and still have issues. I need the fun. I need the whooping it up. I need Vicky getting her hand stuck in the back of a van door. I need her falling down trying to surf. I need Shannon breaking her finger off. Give me chaos. Give me fun. I need it. Tiffany, production has their hands all in this, in my opinion. To be honest, I think production might be a little, I think they're too involved to the point that it's not, I don't know how they're going to get it back on track. Because no matter which way they go, they are either, someone is going to be pinned as an absolute horrific person and liar and friend. And the whole thing is that are either one of them even really that? Gretchen or Katie, And if you've been paying attention to online now, so as I said, Katie is saying that she didn't tell Kiki. They're now saying that Sheena, who often, has Kiki on her podcast, they're saying that Sheena is the one who told Kiki and not Katie, and that's how it all came about. Now they're trying to pin it on her. Now, I don't want to say pin it on her, but it's also like every time that we start to get a little bit of, okay, maybe this is how it went down. Now y'all throw Sheena Shea in. Where the hell did she come from? She's already gone from Vanderpump Rules to the Valley, and now y'all want to get her over on OC too. What is who died and made her senior staff at Bravo? Why is she on everything? It's too. Vicky and I joked. We even named one of our podcast episodes that we needed a flow chart for OC, because it's like, okay, this happened, and then she said this, and then they said this. But if that is true, then that means this person's lying. I can't keep up. And then every time, like I said, I got to have the flow chart's now on about 14 pieces of paper. We're now moving on to page 15 because y'all just added a whole nother character. I am exhausted. Someone said we need fun and opulence. Yes. Like, has there been, and also OC was always my favorite for so many years. And Vicky, that's why Vicky was always my favorite from the get-go, was because she was so funny. Like, just the natural chaos in her life, just things that happen, not necessarily even things that she said or did or her perspective on stuff, but it was just like the happenings in her life. And it was so funny and lighthearted. And it's like, have we had, and to me, that was always OC's strong point. They were the funny show. Like, they could really, really bring real life issues, friendship issues, drama, but shit was funny, Like Vicky and Tamra and Shannon, like, drunk at that table, and the ringtone goes off, and they're like, stupid stuff like that. Has there been one moment on OC this season where it's like people are making memes and saying, oh my God, that was so funny, and like, ha 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 ha. Like, no. Has there? Correct me if I'm wrong, because like Tamra said in the after show, she's like, I don't know what I did yesterday. I don't even remember what I had for breakfast this morning. So maybe I'm forgetting something. But there's nothing, like, why aren't we laughing? Live, laugh, love. We've gone from live, laugh, love to lie, lie, lie. It don't have to be this way. In the words of Vicky, it didn't used to be this way. We used to have fun. We used to giggle and laugh. The fun is gone. Fun's gone. The fun bus has left, baby. So very curious to see, not only when those texts will come up again, especially because Katie is apparently, not featured heavily for many episodes, which sucks, but in what context they will come back. And I'm also wondering too, like, is production maybe like scrambling and because also too, remember, everyone was talking about how dark the finale was. Remember that? We talked about this one week. Like, everyone's talking about how dark the finale is, but no one wants to say what happened. Well, no one's talking about it anymore. I'm like, are they going to have to like go back and re-edit and navigate like how to wrap this season up just because no one is responding to it the way that they expected, And I will say too, I just mentioned the after show, which y'all should definitely watch the after shows. If you don't, they're awesome. I was surprised to hearing Tamra discuss, her things with Gretchen. And she said that she's like, I don't remember what I did yesterday. So she's like, having to talk about all this stuff from 15 years ago. She's like, it's so exhausting and hard. Like, she's like, cause I don't know. And I've always been on the side of like understanding Gretchen's pain, I think, in this specific situation, the naked wasted of it all. So to me, as a viewer, it was surprising to watch that scene and to really feel, I did feel, that Tamra was like, girl, like, we've got to just And I know when sometimes people say you got to move on. It's like, well, I need to feel better about this stuff in the past. And sometimes that's easier said than done. But I felt like Tamra was just saying, if we were going to be able to just move on or to talk it out or whatever, like it probably would have been done by now. Like if this is going to happen, it just has to happen. Like we have to agree to stop, you know? And in that moment, I did kind of feel like it was sincere. You know, I could be wrong. You know, obviously Gretchen said she didn't know if it was sincere, but I just, at some point, Tamara was like, it's either we got to agree to just stop or agree to probably stop trying. Like it's one or the other, you know? And we also got the mid-season trailer this week, which, did y'all see that? Because I was confused. Felt like, you know, like every episode of this season, what the theme is confusion. The whole season, every episode, and then right after the mid-season trailer too. It felt very disgentled. Is that a word? Just jump all over the place. You know what I'm saying? And it also, there was like little to no Katie in it. And so it's just and the fact that we're only midway through, midway. The reunion should have been yesterday. We should be done. I'm done. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. Like midway. And then the mid-season trailer offered not much fun to be, you know, desired. There wasn't much fun to look forward to. And it was still just, I was confused. I don't know what, it felt like it was all over the place. So jumbled. Maybe. Thank you, Missy. Who knows what I'm trying to say? You know, but I think as long as you get the idea, you know. Oh, thank y'all for being patient with me. But let me know, did y'all see it? They aired it at the end of the episode too. And normally a mid-season trailer is like an exciting thing for me because it's like a lot of the storyline, a lot of the, you know, really good moments are saved for that mid-season trailer, you know, and I just was I don't want to be negative, but I was just kind of disappointed by it. You know, I didn't leave me feeling that excited at all, you know? So also another OC topic, Gina was, I believe it was Page 6 she was doing interviews with, or Us Weekly. She was in New York doing press for the show. And she said that if Katie is invited back, she doesn't know if she can come back. I'm like, listen, we don't like when housewives give ultimatums. But if you're going to give an ultimatum and inevitably us Bravo viewers be like, don't do that. In the words of Sutton Strack, maybe you can learn to not say stuff. You better be coming correct. I'm talking Teresa not wanting to film with Melissa. I'm talking the Vicky, Shannon, Tamra of it all back in the day. I mean, there are very few housewives that can throw that out there and not be laughed at, because your entire job here is to engage. And I know you're saying you'll walk away from the job, but it's like, of all the engaging you have done before, to publicly say that this is where you draw the line, miss me with it all day. Like, even when the OC ladies Salt Lake City ladies all banded together and said they didn't want to film with Monica, I thought that was messed up. And they're like, they're the stars of Bravo. They're keeping the lights on. And I said, don't do that. Y'all have no business doing that. So Gina, most certainly, and I've apologized to Gina. I've given her flowers this season. And I'm about to take back one, or at least take off a couple petals, because you don't do that. And way to beat the bullying rumors and accusations, to publicly go and say, well, if she comes back, I'm leaving. There's exit doors on both sides. Take your pick. So, moving on. We're going to wrap up with New Jersey, and then I'll go back and check y'all's comments and chat with you. There was, baby honey, if we are living and breathing, there is another Jersey casting rumor out there, okay? And I don't really care for this one because it's like kind of just getting rehashed over and over again in different ways. And this time it was Us Magazine saying that Jersey, it was exclusive. I was like, I don't know if it's exclusive. It was kind of rumored already, but that Jersey is test filming with Melissa, Margaret, and Dolores, and amongst, some newer candidates, and that Teresa has not test filmed. Okay. And so everyone's like, oh my God, that means Teresa's out. That means Teresa's out. Well, not necessarily. Okay. Because they also know that the moment Teresa test films with anything or does any, like, it's going to blow up. All right. Also, I think that they know how Teresa operates on camera. We have plenty of material to work with there. She's the longest running cast member. She has engaged and not engaged with women of all different personality types and backgrounds and storylines. She's test filmed. Okay. You can say the same about Melissa and Margaret and Dolores. You can't. But also, All About TRH pointed out an interesting fact that OGs often don't do test filming, and that test filming isn't even paid. So, I hope Teresa ain't doing it. Because since I've started, me and Vicky have gotten closer. She said, you don't work for free. We don't work for free. Teresa don't work for free. Melissa would work for free. But interesting. So I don't think that Teresa test filming or not test filming, I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing for her or for her future, on the show. I think that Bravo has more confidence and knowing in Teresa than a lot of their talent. And I think that if that decision is made to not include her, it will be very, very clear. And if it is also made that decision to not include her, I don't know what I'll do. All right. Going to go back and read y'all's comments. Oh my gosh, so many. Hello. Let's see. It's Missy. I love my pink. You love my pink mouse. Baby, I got a pink keyboard. I love pink. Let's see. Katie needs to get in Gretchen's face and own it. Oh wait, I'm behind. I gotta get these comments are just so fast. People are desperate to keep reality TV jobs. That is true. Oh, KM says Slade has the time to call because he was never able to work again since Tamra called him a deadbeat dad. Duh. Well, baby, it's a good thing we got unlimited pay plan call plans these days. Y'all remember the days of minutes? It's like I got 2 text messages left and about 14 seconds before my mom annihilates me for going over. And like 42-minute phone calls. Maybe he was in the school pickup line. I hear that can take a long time. I don't know. Stephanie Varela. I would love Katie more if she just owned stuff. In the Entertainment Tonight interview, she continues to lie that she never played the audio for Alexis. Yeah. I've said too, I was like, there has to be something that I think she can own up to. Hopefully, unless she truly believes that every single thing is a fabrication towards her, but yeah, like I really, 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 if I had to guess, I would have thought that her first admission would have been the Kiki of it all, but she's saying no. So very interesting. Troy Tran, it wouldn't make sense for Katie to lie about telling Kiki since she knows the fans have her back. I mean, but the thing is a lot of fans have her back, even saying, we don't care if you lied. Like you continued to lie clearly because of how they were acting towards you, and I've said before too, at some point, the punishment outweighs the crime. And so, in my opinion, having the support of people would be the best time to own up to something. Because half of the people that are rallying for her are like, who cares? I don't care if you lied. I don't care if she lied. I don't care. I don't care. And so to me, admitting something I think would only help that, you know? We'll see. Bradford, 102, Gretchen, how does one calling your baby daddy a deadbeat dad take away jobs? And also, how do Gretchen and Slade pay the bills? You would have to ask all the interviewers that have passed on Slade. And I would also like to ask them, since you have such a strong opinion of Slade being a deadbeat father and that to the point that you can't hire him, who's your all-time favorite housewife? Because clearly you are a viewer. You know? Stephanie Varela, don't bring back anyone. They're the past. We need to move forward. New people, new wives, new personalities. We can't keep looking to the past. If they were going to do that, they should have stuck with that in season 14 when they demoted Vicky, and season 15 when they got rid of Tamra, and so on. They've started to rely on nostalgia in these women from the past because they realize that's what we like. It's true. It's what we like. And also, if they were going to do all new people, they should have done it before a monumental historic season like season 20, because now all we want is nostalgia. If I see new faces on season 20, I'm also going to see a new channel because I'm watching something else. Not like all new faces. And like we can even have some facelifts from girls that we like before. I just don't need to get to know all new people on a historic season like that. You know? That's just me. Let's see. What else we got over here? Alexis just wants to be back on the show. Kiki wants 15 minutes. See, I don't think that about Kiki. I really don't. Like, she's been, one of the best content creators and like reporters of information that I've followed for years. Like, I don't think she needed the 15 minutes. I really don't. Like, I really, really don't. I don't think that this was something that she wanted. I really don't. That to me is the most unfortunate part of all this, is that I really kind of believe two people and that both of them are getting such negative experiences in their own way, I think, from what's going on. It's not fair. Let's see what else y'all got. My gosh, so many comments. Beverly Hills came and it was even better. Oh, we're talking about the glitz and glamour. I know, I missed the glamour. I need a private jet. Give me a PJ. I want to see people on a PJ. It's getting to a dark place and it's draining, says It's Missy. I agree. Even my friend text one of my group chats with my friends last night. He's like, I just watched OC, just watched Miami. Miami is amazing. OC is exhausting. That's all he said. And I was like, we're getting to that point. And I said too, like the reunion should have been this week, is because I know that Katie said Kiki wanted her 15 minutes. That's why I said that this is hard, because I believe people on both sides. I know. It's sad. But I think that viewers are going to be suffering from fatigue very, very soon. And for there to we're only at the mid-season trailer. Like, if they had the reunion next week or the week after or the week after that, maybe we could get a little pick-me-up. But I'm tired. I'm tired. Like, they got to find something to pick it up or wrap it up, I don't know how much more I can take. All right, everybody. Well, how about I send y'all into your weekend? All right. Don't be hanging out with no liar faces, and do lots of whipping it up. Get your love tank full. Get you a good casserole. And yeah. Don't get on the phone with Slade for 42 minutes. All right, everybody. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me this week. I will be back next week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, right here on Hurrdat's YouTube. So make sure you hit subscribe, so whenever I'm live, you get notified and you can come hang out with me and we can kiki and chat just like we have this afternoon. Again, I hope your weekend is good to you. See y'all next week. Besos.